Hi, everyone. Welcome to KP and Associates Q&A, Thursday, 1 o'clock. And thank you, followers, for I'm really not speaking very well today. Anyway, thank you very much for following us. And we have a special guest today for the Museums of Burlington, Miriam, and she will be doing a special presentation for us so that we understand what it's all about. But first and foremost, as you know, we always do Carrie Ann, and Carrie Ann will give us the market stats for the past week. Carrie Ann? We can't hear you.
All right, good afternoon. So the last 7 days in Halton, we've had 323 new listings, 124 price decreases, 284 sold listings. I put in the canceled in there just to give a range of how the market is going. There was 100 canceled listings. The average list price is $1,484,058, and the average sale price is $1,234,268. Average days on market for the last, I did 14 days, but it's been 13 days on market is the average days, and the most I think I saw was 138 days was maximum.
Fantastic. Thank you very, very much, Carrie Ann, for doing that for us so that our listeners can be updated on the market, which is not doing very badly. It is actually doing quite well. And as listings come on the market, they are sold, as you heard from Carrie Ann, within a very short period of time. Maybe not as short as January, February, March, but in April. But I have to say, that that is a very short period of time. So here we have, Carrie Ann, do you want to introduce Miriam and give us a little bit of background, or we'll have Miriam give us a bit of a profile?
I can introduce her.
Okay, you introduce her.
So, Miriam Martens, she's the Public Programs Coordinator for the Museums of Burlington. She joined the Museums of Burlington in 2018 and is currently the Public Programs Coordinator. She enjoys planning the programs for all age groups and ranging from toddlers to seniors. Welcome, Miriam.
Welcome, Miriam. Welcome. So let's do the presentation first, and then we'll ask questions, Miriam. Is that good?
That sounds great.
Great. Carrie Ann, you're giving her the ability to share.
She can share her screen.
Fantastic.
Great. All right.
Perfect.
So yes, as Carrie Ann said, I am the Public Programs Coordinator at the Museums of Burlington. And if you didn't know, the Museums of Burlington is actually 2 sites in Burlington, kind of basically on the opposite ends of the city. We have Ireland House Museum here, which is the one behind this lovely little bush, the historic looking house. That's just at Guelph Line past Upper Middle. And then we have Joseph Brant Museum, which is all the way on the other side of Burlington, just right on the lake shore. And it's our newer site. So I'm just going to let you know kind of a little bit about these different sites, a little bit of the history behind them, and really what we have to offer if you're someone looking for something to do in the Burlington or surrounding areas. So this beautiful place here, this is Ireland House Museum, and this museum was built between 1835 to 1837. And it's a really special place because it was lived in by 4 generations of the same family, the Irelands. So it was lived in by those 4 generations for 150 years. And it's also really special to us because over 90% of the artifacts in the house are actually from the family themselves.
Wow.
They're probably what we would call hoarders nowadays, but we're grateful for their hoarding because most of what we have is original, and we actually don't accept new artifacts unless they have a link to the family. So it's not really a place you can call up and say, I have this, 1800s cookbook just laying around and I want you to take it. It has to be kind of an 1800s cookbook that was owned by one of the Irelands and maybe has some notes from them in it. So that makes it a really special place. And at this site, you can come in from Tuesdays to Fridays from 10 to 4, or Sundays from 1 to 4, and you can take a guided tour of the museum. You'll be led by one of our educators or staff members. I typically say set aside about 45 minutes to an hour for one of the tours. It's really interesting. And yeah, it goes all around the house. You can even tour the grounds. There's about 3.8 acres of land left. The farm itself used to be 1,067 acres back when it was at its peak in the 1800s. But we still have about 4 acres left. So it's a lovely property that we still do events on, host lots of camps and things like that. When you come to Ireland House, you'll be met by this building, however, which is our Oak Ridge Interpretive Center. It was built in a style to match the house, but in fact, it was built in the early 1990s. And this houses our administrative offices, our gift shop, which has some lovely local goods and some heritage-inspired items as well. And we do a lot of programming here as well. A lot of events take place partly in here, partly in the historic house. And there is a mini exhibit in here as well. As you can see, the exhibit on right now is the Garden of Canada, and it kind of relates the Ireland's role to, food production in the Burlington area. And so that mini exhibit changes quite frequently. I would say probably 2 to 3 times a year, which for an exhibit is fairly frequently.
Mm-hmm.
So our other site, which looks completely different on the other side of Burlington, is Joseph Brant Museum, not to be mistaken for the hospital, which happens a lot. Usually I'm at the front desk and someone comes in for their scheduled checkup at the hospital and I have to redirect them elsewhere. So this is attached to that big white house on the hill. You'll see at the corner of North Shore and Lake Shore there in Maple Avenue. And this recently just underwent a kind of transformation project. So the house was originally the museum. That white house that you see on the hill there, that was the extent of the museum before the transformation project took place. And then this new building with the lovely glass windows, that was opened in September 2019. So unfortunately, that was not long before the world kind of shut down for a little bit. So a lot of people still think we might not be open, but in fact we are, and we'd love for you to come visit us. It's a great place. It's actually a LEED Platinum certified building, so it reduces its environmental impact, which is great. There's free parking on site for those who are visiting the museum, and there's the charging station for electric vehicles. So it's a really fascinating new site, and I'm going to take you through kind of some of the things you can expect when you come to Joseph Brant Museum. Which one of them is the exhibitions. So we have 4 galleries when you come for your visit there. So the first one is the Burlington Gallery. This one explores Burlington's history and heritage. Visitors learn about Joseph Brant and how the village of Burlington grew into the city we know it today through immigration, farming, shipping, railways, and development. The next exhibit that we have, this is the costume gallery, and this really goes over the history of the Brant Inn and really a golden time in Burlington's history at the time when Burlington kind of was home to what was known as Canada's Hollywood, which is the Brant Inn. So it kind of goes over all the famous people that visited, the style of the times, basically as you can see there through the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And it's a great place to take kids to. We have a lot of families that'll bring their kids. here because we have a really awesome discovery gallery, this theme of which is STEAM, and that's for science, technology, exploration, athletics, and math. And there's lots of things to do. There's some bikes to ride. There's a giant light bright. There's this kind of course you create on a magnetic wall here to get the ball from one end to another. So it's a really great time for kids, I like to say, of all ages, because even the adults like to hang out in there as well when they come visit. And this is one of our really exciting spaces. This space is our showcase gallery, and this is something that changes every 3 to 4 months. So we're able to bring in new exhibits from around North America here and bring them to Burlington, which is awesome. So right now, up until this Saturday, we have our Beyond Human Limits exhibit, which takes visitors inside the minds and bodies of extreme athletes. And you can kind of try some activities that might put you in their headspace. And then coming up on October 8th, we have a new exhibit that's going to be from the Canada Agriculture and Food Museum, and it's called The Taste of Science. So it kind of explores like food decay and what keeps food safe and nutritious for us, what makes food spoil, all kind of those interesting scientific things, but it's really engaging for visitors of all ages. And of course, being the museums, we run a lot of great programs for people in the area. So we have our education department stays really busy. That's what I'm a part of. And we have things like school trips, educate rentals, homeschool trips, Girl Guides and Girl Scouts always book through there, heritage workshops. We go to long-term care homes a lot to give lectures. Those are particularly popular. And we have inclusive adult group programs for adults of all learning abilities. So those are some really exciting things that we're doing, and everything is hands-on, interactive, and engaging, and we try to stay relevant to, you know, what's happening at the museum and in the world around us. And just some of the programs to highlight what's coming up. On October 23rd, we have a rag rug workshop. So that kind of goes with the Ireland House Museum. This was something that was commonly done by people who lived in the era of the Irelands. So participants actually get to make their own mini rag rug that they can take home, and all your supplies are given to you. So that's going to be really fun. And then we have a little ghost hunt at the museum on October 29th and 30th, and it's a little scavenger hunt around both museums, and it's suitable for kids probably ages 5 and up, so that should be a really fun time as well. We love Halloween, we love trick-or-treaters. And then we have a ton of special events that we run year-round. These are our ones coming up, which we're really excited about. Our Apple Fest is October 1st. So it really is just a celebration of autumn, and there's activities for the young and the young at heart. And it connects to Ireland House Museum in that it was really a prestigious apple orchard at one time that they ran, winning a prize actually at the Canadian National Exhibition. So it kind of, it really relates to the history of the home, and there will be hearth demonstrations. You'll find me making applesauce downstairs in the historic home that day. So it's really fun. And then we have a new event, which I'm really excited about. It's called Spirits with Spirits at Ireland House Museum. So this one is experiencing a tour of Ireland House at night with a bit of a ghoulish twist, talking about mourning traditions throughout the years and the Victorian tradition of postmortem photography. And there's some fireside ghost stories happening as well, and specialty spooky cocktails and treats throughout the evening as well. And then this last event is probably my favorite. This is Visits with Santa, and this is helps you skip the madness of the mall for sure. It's a really nice intimate session that you can book with your kids to visit Santa one-on-one, no crazy lineups, and you book a 10-minute slot to visit him, and Henry's will be there taking professional photographs that you can go and pick up, and you get a free photograph when you go back to the Henry store and get it printed. And yeah, it includes a take-home craft and a bag of Christmas popcorn for each kid that comes. So that's kind of our museums and what's going on there. So yeah, feel free to ask any questions you might have.
Miriam, all I can say is, wow, Wow, wow. So you head up all of these situations. Is that what you do in your position?
In my position, I focus mostly on our education programs at the time. My job
Mhm.
is sort of outreach and trying to figure out new programs that we can implement. We have a special events coordinator that she runs the special events, and then our supervisor, Kate Almeida, she
Uh-huh.
really helps run the whole show in terms of all the outreach and public programming that we do.
So, Carrie Ann, just a note, let's put that in our newsletter, the 3 events that are happening in the next couple of months, because that I think is fantastic.
Yeah, so I'll actually keep these in mind also, because generally we send out our
Mhm.
newsletter bi-weekly. So I try to find the events that are happening that week or within the 2 weeks, and then we'll put the events in there for sure. I find these museums I've never been to them. And what you've said today, you're making me want to go, actually, because of the surfing one looks very interesting.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really fun and lots of kids love it, but adults, like I hear those surfboards clattering around all day because they just have such a fun time. And there's like a kind of a tightrope there that you can try. I'm too scared, even though it's like a foot off the ground, because anything with heights and balance terrifies me. But it's lots of fun for everyone and really interesting as well.
So let's talk about the nitty gritty. So is there a cost to actually go into either museum?
There is, yeah. So there is an admission fee at both museums. It's $10 for adults, 8 for students or seniors, and $6 for children. Children 2 and under are free.
Okay, and who is this? Is this run? Is this funded by the city of Burlington, or is it funded by private entrepreneurs or people that would like to support it?
That's a good question, and it's a complicated answer that I'm not sure I can answer
Okay.
accurately, just because that's not my realm of it.
Yes.
But there's multiple sources of funding, both like municipal and federal, as well as some foundations that help support the museums as well. And then everything that we do, all these programs that you see, those contribute to the costs of running the museum. It all goes back to collections management.
Yeah. Yeah. And do volunteers help with all these programs also? Because I do know that you have, I've been asked to sponsor a couple of situations that Ireland has, like there's a tea party, I think, is it Easter? Am I wrong in saying that, Miriam?
We typically do a Mother's Day tea.
Yes, yes. And that, for instance, who do you volunteer to help with it, or what happens there? You
Yeah,
don't.
volunteers are a very essential part of the museums. We have a
Mhm.
volunteer coordinator, Robin Hill, who does an excellent job. And yeah, when you sign up through her, you kind of tell her what your wishes are in terms of what you would like to work with in the museum.
Yes.
And they help us with everything. They do the admissions desk at Joseph Brandt. They do tours here. They help with education programs. We can't run the museums without them, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, that's superb. Well, let's give a kudos to all those volunteers, because you probably have some regulars that come in all the time.
Yeah, I think they reached 500 hours in total in just August alone, because we run summer camps every day. So we have dedicated high school students who come out from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. with us every day, and yeah, make it through the whole summer. So they're
Wonderful.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah, that is wonderful. And how do you put it out there that you want volunteers? How does Robin do that? Does she put it out through Facebook and through social media?
Yeah, when we have a call for them, a lot of it can happen like organically to people with just interest, or people who come to visit a lot of the time say like, oh, this is a really cool place. Can I
Yeah,
volunteer?
yeah.
So that, or they have friends who will come as well. So I believe there are like volunteer based kind of websites where you could find like a posting that you're welcome to volunteer here, but our website's always the best place to go for anything when you're curious about something.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Wonderful. So I know that the one downtown, the Burlington Museum, that was quite a situation, because when they started building the addition on the new, or when they started planning the addition on the new hospital, it was, oh, what are we going to do here? And it was, there were, because they have the, it was part of Burlington. It was part of the heritage of Burlington. You can't get rid of something like that, can you?
No, it's really important that we kept it, because it really tells the story of not even so much Joseph Brant, despite the name. His name is really in ode to him being Burlington's first citizen. So the fact that he was the first developer of the area and kind of led Burlington to be essentially what it is today, that in downtown.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's it's really important just to keep the house is we call it like this little beacon on a hill to show you the beginning of the history of downtown. And it's an important symbol for downtown because it has so much to do with the development down there, and it wouldn't be like it is, and we wouldn't have some of the historic homes down there either if it wasn't for developing the area.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Now and originally, I mean, it was just the house, and I remember the strawberry socials. And do you still have those?
We don't have Strawberry Social. The city runs such a fabulous program across in Spencer Smith Park that we let them take care of the daytime now. We run fireworks from the rooftop now because we have an amazing green roof on the top of that addition that was added. So it gives you a perfect view of the fireworks happening at Spencer Smith Park. So that's a new event that we run in the evening.
That's wonderful. Now, talk to us about the building. Now, was it an architect who designed that from Burlington, or was it out of town or Canadian?
I know we worked with the company Chamberlain specifically.
Yes.
So that's about all that I know. I came on at the very end when they were opening it up. So as to the whole building and architectural process, but I know they were a very important part in getting the building up and running. And the city's been great to work with them as well. And they really help us with, making sure everything's good, because it is a city building as well. So they were an important part of it.
So you talk about the green roof. I guess that was done specifically to make it environmentally friendly, number one. And number two is because it goes, if I have never been in the building, so does it go underground? Is that what it does, Miriam?
It does go into a bit of that hill. And so when we added the building, we lost a lot of the outdoor space that was there, especially because we wanted to add more parking as well. From what I heard, the parking lot before was just no good. You couldn't fit a lot of cars in there. So we wanted good parking, and we also wanted some green outdoor space. It's been particularly wonderful for events or when we have camps there. It's a great space for the kids to just get their energy out, run around, play some games. So yeah, it's with that purpose of being environmentally friendly, but also offering an outdoor space that you can enjoy. And we did just recently install some interpretive panels up there as well. So when you go up, you can look out, and there's a panel in front of you that gives you a picture from an earlier time, usually late 1800s to the 1950s. And you can look out and see what's there now and see on the panel what used to be there.
How unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. You guys are always thinking.
Yeah, we like to think, we like to be creative.
Of new and exciting things. Well, it's important because it gives our city such a great name in regard to that, with a cultural center across the street, and then the museum, and then Ireland House. It's so great to have this, to be part of Burlington, really. And so talk to me about your position with the museums. Exactly what do you do?
So what I do is I work on creating new programs to really kind of engage with the community and really try to outreach to the community as well. So, for example, currently right now, we do a lot of lectures in long-term care homes because we are able to go to them and provide them with, educational resources. And a lot of them are familiar with the way Burlington used to be. So right now I'm working on a new lecture series called the Namesake series. So talking about where the names of things in Burlington actually came from. Why is LaSalle Park called LaSalle Park? Why is Spencer Smith called Spencer Smith? So lecture series, I'm working on new heritage workshops. So we have a plethora of knowledge and skills within our own staff. However, there's some things we can't do. I can't do a rag rug. I don't know embroidery. So we're bringing people in to not only teach the staff these skills, but to offer this to other people. And it connects to the heritage of Ireland House. That's the most important part, is that we connect to the heritage of our sites. And so, yeah, we're going to have embroidery, flower pressing, knitting, wool felting, all these things that we use in the modern day and don't realize like the origins of it or how popular it was at the time.
So those kind
Wow,
of events, do you, they pay the entry fee plus another fee, or what is
Would all be combined. So
Okay.
it's all combined. Everything that you need for is provided. The only thing that's not typically included in the heritage workshops is a tour of Ireland House, because they run the whole length of the Sunday afternoon that we're open. If you wanted to, absolutely, we could like validate you for another tour if there wasn't time to have one and things like that.
So all these events that happen into there are included into the entry fee?
Yes. Yep. So we host them specifically as like an event. So the heritage workshop, you pay for the heritage workshop and everything you need is provided.
Perfect.
What are the costs? What's the cost of the heritage workshop?
Generally, they range, the rag rug one is $50. They're going to range probably between 50 to 65, which is quite reasonable for the crafts you'll be learning. I myself am like a knitter, crocheter, new sewist, and it's a very reasonable price in terms of what I've taken in courses to learn these skills. So we try to offer it, and just try to get people in the door and familiar with the new location. So many people don't know that Ireland House.
All the material is provided as well, right?
Yeah.
So that's
fantastic.
very good.
Yeah. And like lots of people don't realize Ireland House exists. Like when I came for my interview, I accidentally drove right past it because it's just like people in Burlington live around the corner and they're like, I didn't even know this was there. So it's a great way to kind of get people into our facility and just introduce them to like how like the long past of Burlington and like how prominent the Ireland family was in it.
I think one of the biggest introductions to the Ireland House when it started was the Easter egg hunt. And, I think it opened people's eyes as to what Burlington provides and has for the community. And it's wonderful. Yeah. So I want to thank you very, very much. Have you got any more questions, Carrie Ann? Because we're going to close this up, and I'm going to thank Miriam very, very much for coming on our panel. And you've given us a lot to think about.
And I'm glad we could make it work.
Yes.
We went back and forth a couple times, but we're good.
We have issues with panelists because they all say, well, can we do it then? And sometimes it doesn't work, But thank you very, very much for your time and making it work, Miriam. We really appreciate it. And we're going to put this on our Facebook and our social media and in our newsletter, which is very well regarded. And I want to thank our live Facebook followers, and actually all of our Facebook followers, and all the comments they make about our Q&A. We love those. And don't forget that KW is worldwide, and we are the largest by agent count company in the world of probably about 175 agents at this point, 175,000 agents. So here I am, and I am actually in Portugal today, and I gave a beautiful presentation in front of 75 agents at KW Alpha in Porto, Portugal. So KW is everywhere. So Miriam, thank you. And if you want to buy or sell a house, please don't forget to call us.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.